Recording. Then I stopped mine. Okay. All right. Are we recording now? Okay. I'm recording as well. Alrighty. We'll do the countdown. Start the show. 5,
I'm
4,
doing pretty good. I just
3,
got off for
2,
vacation
1.
and I started back to work the past couple of days. Feeling a little bit tired as a result. Haven't done it in about
Welcome
almost
to
two
episode
weeks. So
642 of
yeah,
the
try to get
DrunkNerds
back into the
podcast.
groove of
I'm
things
host as
is getting
always.
kind
I'm
of
Tyler, and
difficult.
join me. We have the man,
On
the
top
myth,
of
the
that,
legend himself, Sir
I've been
Colonel
doing a whole bunch of
Gables.
live
What's up, buddy?
fantasy football stuff for the past 2 weeks. Just really getting really getting into the nitty gritty thing because the trade deadline for our league plus a couple of the leagues I'm in have went and came and went and stuff. Did pull off one trade inside of our league, but other than that, though, I mean, I'm just basically just hoping, okay, at least 2 out of 3 leagues I can get into the postseason, which I have a good chance. I mean, I'm facing off against someone that has really remained dormant, really, until like this week to try to switch out some of his players and stuff for stuff because he's like what 2-9. I'm like 7-4. Hopefully, I get to win that
Yeah.
matchup.
Yeah.
But then for another league, I'm like, okay, well, my quarterback that I started for most of this year is out because of injury. Okay, so who am I going to go to the quarterback room here? So I'm going on the waiver wire, check out the quarterbacks, and literally the only option I could go between, it's between Caleb Williams, Drake May, and then someone else. So I'm like thinking to myself, oh god damn it, I'll do it. I'll start the rookie. I'm gonna go with Drake May. This one, I'm like, oh, but yeah, just all these possibilities, all this other stuff. But to his credit, though, he has played decent the past couple of games. But other than that, though, I mean, I have been playing some bit
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
games this
Smart
week.
choice.
One new one that I had been playing off and on and stuff. But other than that, though, how have you been doing, Tyler? Hmm.
I'm doing all right. Could be a lot better. It was a rough week
Hmm.
this week. Had to my sister's we got her my family got her a cat when she was
Ooh.
5 years old, and she's 24 now. So we had a cat for 19 years. Had to unfortunately put him down earlier this week, so that sucked. Had to put my
Well, you got the
car went to
dog.
shit, so I put 2 grand into that to get fixed. They don't have, so that
Yeah.
sucked. So yeah, so and I'm still out of work because my fucking ankle. So I'm basically a country song at this point, Gables. No job, no car, and a pet. So well, obviously, my car's fixed. I have my
Mm.
dog, but we lost the pet, and then uh, yeah, I'm still out of work right now because my broken foot. Like I have a job, I just can't go to work because I have my broken foot. So
Oh yeah.
and also on top of that, I still
Oh.
have a lot of drink because I'm drinking water because I'm on fucking stupid ass goddamn medication for this goddamn foot. So second week in a row, I'm not allowed to drink. So on top of that, all it's been a shitty week. Want to crack a beer, talk about some video games, have a good time. Can't do that. So just kind of kicking the goddamn nuts. Kick a man while he's down. But yeah, my dog's he's in the bedroom, probably sleeping right now. He's like, no pets. What are you talking about? But no, I got it's been a shitty week, but I don't know. Obviously, yeah. Anyways, let's move on here before I get sad again. But yeah, anyways, this is spin this here, get out of that. This is the Drunk Nerd podcast where usually I'm drinking, but I can't right now. But every week, Gables and I get together to play video games and everything we love and hate about them and everything in between. If you guys want to support us in any way whatsoever, we don't ask for money. We don't make money off doing this. We're two guys. We have full-time jobs. We just do this for fun because we like video games. So if you want to support us anyway, really all we ask is some of your time and maybe click some buttons along the way. We're on everything podcast services. We're on all of them, all the big ones at least. We're on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, all those things. So if you want to subscribe, like, follow, 5 stars, leave comments, stuff like that, that's what you can really do to help us out. There are links down below in the description, wherever you're watching us or watching or listening to us on. The big thing you can do for us, though, is if you are listening to us on a podcast service, or if you are watching us on YouTube,
Mm.
hit the subscribe button, hit that thumbs up button. The more you guys do stuff like that, more helps out the algorithm. And the YouTube thing is a big thing we've been pushing for a while now. getting so close to actually being able to make like ad revenue off of like YouTube, and I'm sure it won't be much, but it'd be nice like maybe Gables and I could buy like a coffee every now and again, for doing this thing. We've been doing this for over 11 years now, so be helpful to make a little bit of kickback on that one. So, but yeah,
Mm-hmm.
pretty much it. But kind of moving on here to some of the news. So the original plan was I talked about last week was the idea
Yep.
we're going to do our predictions for Game of the Year or for Game Awards rather for this week, but kind of thinking about today, we're just going to push that to next week because it's Thanksgiving next week, and I'm not anticipating a lot of news and anything like that. Everybody's pretty much, like the entertainment world pretty much shuts down the week of Thanksgiving, so I'm not expecting too much next week. I'll watch fucking Switch 2 or something gets announced or whatever, and that blows up everything. But we will obviously pivot and go from there. But yeah, I'm not expecting a lot next week, so I figured it'd be easier for us. That'd be just to do it next week and give us a week to think about it and see how
Yes.
things go. But let's go ahead and jump in some of the news. We are going to talk about a little bit about the Game Awards. We'll say predictions for next week, Gables, but we did make our predictions last week for what we thought would be the game of the just for
Mm-hmm.
Game of the Year of the 6 games. We both got so you got 5 right, I got 4 right. Last year we both got 5 right. Um, we did pick the 4 pretty obvious ones we got right: Astrobot, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Metaphor, Balatro. I said Silent Hill 2 and Prince of Persia: Lost Crown would be the other 2. You said Elden Ring, Shadow of the Erdtree, and Silent Hill 2. It was instead Shadow of the Erdtree and Wukong that were were the other 2. I mean, obviously say predictions,
I
but
was
what was
rather
your general
surprised in terms of
reactions
the game of
when
the
you saw
year
who made
stuff
the
because
list?
even though I had even though I had thought that some of the more obvious ones would make it in, like a Balatro, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, like Silent Hill 2 remake and stuff, I felt that Black Myth Wukong would get snubbed out of the Game of the Year consideration, but no, it's there. It's inside of it, which I'm happy because that's more representation in terms of like how like expanded this actual Game of the Year stuff has been, for a lot of the major game releases this year. So we got a good representation pretty much of like a lot of great games. Obviously, Erdtree being the DLC stuff,
Mm,
kind of a little bit controversial somewhat inside of its own right, but at the same time, DLC content of itself is like an entirely separate game, pretty much. Uh,
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't super surprised by Wukong. I just felt like, because we talked about last week, there was like, we had like the 4 obvious, and there was just like, I mean, to me, there were like, you had a good argument for like 10 other games that could fill in those
yeah,
last 2 spots.
absolutely.
So like to me, like I wouldn't, I would kind of, I wouldn't say anything got snubbed necessarily. Just because like I said, there was like, we wrote down like kind of what was theirs potentials. It's just like, I don't know, you can make a good argument for all these. Like I was more surprised by Urtree, just like not that I think it was deserving. Just because I thought like I talked about last week, the reason I didn't like, I thought like I had a decent shot of maybe getting there. But I thought enough people would like the DLC part of it would hurt
Yeah.
it enough that enough people wouldn't even bother putting on its ballot, to get on there. So that surprised me more so than anything. Like I don't know, like I get annoyed by like the whole like every year like the anger that comes out of the Game Awards because like I get like
Yeah.
I don't know. To me, it's just like yeah, I get it. It's marketing. It's like, but so is all state of plays, directs, fucking everything's marketing nowadays. I get it. Like I like oh, it should be focusing more on the awards. I'm like, we have the golden joysticks that happened this week. Did anybody fucking pay attention to that? Not really. There's we have the Dice Awards. There are the BAFTAs that go on next year. Nobody pays attention to that. Like no one watches them. They're on the internet. You can watch them. Most people don't actually watch them. You might read the headlines of who won the
Hmm.
awards, but you don't actually. No one watches them. So
No.
like it is what it is. Like to me, it's just like I don't know. Like I just want to have a good time, have a fun time. It's like video games supposed to be fun, and it just feels like more so than ever. Especially this year, it's just like everybody's supposed to be fucking negative and angry about video games. It's like, man, it's video games. Like it's supposed to be a fun thing. It's a fun hobby. Like why would people get so outraged, so frustrated by it? And it's like it's this Game Awards. And it happens every year, and I get like people have their
Yeah.
biases and have their thing. Like yeah, I'm human. There are things that like didn't get nominated that yeah, like personal things that I want to see that got that like Indica not getting like on it, like the indie one. Like I'm a little bummed by that one, but I'm like also I wasn't anticipating it would be. So like I don't know. Like I try to get too bummed about like too upset about anything. So like when I look at this, like I'm totally fine with this list. Like if like I don't know, like something crazy, like like something like stupid made it on this list. Like I don't know, Tiny Toon Adventure sports game got on that fucking list. Like, what the fuck are we doing here? You know, like honestly though, I almost respect the bit, but I don't like to me like this is a really good list. Like and like if like I'm not like if Keeley's rules were like DLC wasn't allowed, I've been fine with it. And with his rule, like, and this isn't a new rule. Some people like think like this was like, oh, they just made it this year just to get Erdtree on the ballot. Like, I've listened to interviews about Jeff Keighley's done in the past. Like Jeff Keighley has said in the past, like he doesn't care if Fortnite gets nominated for Game of the Year as long as like if something came out and had a good chunk of like new content to it, like then it deserves and people feel it deserves to be on there, then it deserves to be on there. So like, he doesn't vote for these things. He said, and the thing he does not vote on these. Like he picks the people that do the voting. Yeah, but like he does vote. So like I don't know. I just get annoyed every year by the outrage and all that. Like yeah, it's like like there's a million holes you could poke into it. But like yeah, like I said, I'm really happy with this list. I think it's gonna be like fun list. My biggest gripes every year, pretty much with Game Awards, is like the last like few years has just been like just we've been buried with like fantastic games. Like every month, every week, it just feels like there's like big games, great games coming out all the time, from like AAA to AA to fucking some Balatro. You know, some like one guy made this game, like to team of like a handful of people made this game. And like you look at the awards, you look at the like the different awards they have. It's like when you look back at like because I feel like the Game Awards is like a really good snapshot of like what that year in gaming was, and you know it's kind of a cool thing. All right, cool, but it's like my complaint is like like outside of like you take off like the sports one and like the indie one, like you would think only like 15 games, 20 games come out this year, and like that's my frustration. It's like I'd like to see more diverse like categories. You know, like let throw in like a best like turn-based RPG, best you know like throw in like what the fuck like what is like a clear difference on like what is an action RPG or what's an action game, what's an action adventure game. Like change it to like open world, best open world game, best you know, and then like best action game, like I don't know, character action game or something like that. I don't know, like you know, like I don't, to me, like I look at action games, like I think I look at like to me like or like, and I've heard even people like that vote on these categories like sometimes are kind of confused of like even what they mean by them, or like they have different like I hear from multiple of them like they all have different ideas of what these things mean. Um, you know, it's like in their head, like best action game means something different. Like Astrobot being on best action game. Okay, I technically get there's action. I don't know. It's just weird. Like I think I was listening to one person talk about it, and they were talking about how like when they vote, like there's no like so like the Oscars and Academy Awards stuff like that. Like they have a thing. It's like when you vote on like a category, they have a thing called it's like for your consideration, and it shows like it's like past movies or TV shows that like were nominated for this genre. So you have an idea of like okay, so like it'll like give you examples of what they mean by this. So it kind of like okay, cool. So you can kind of like form your opinion from there. And like that's kind of my thing. I like to see like more awards that like are more specific. You know, like I'm fine. Like I like the best fighting, I bet like best adaptation. I know like some years you might have like yeah you're gonna have Sifu and best fighting. Like you're gonna have some down years. Like the best sports category this year, it fucking sucks. College football. That's the one thing honestly I look at. Like college football didn't make that best sports game this year. Like it's like F1.
I think that was a major snub in that
Yeah,
category. I mean, come on. You put a best sports thing slash racing and you don't include probably one of the biggest selling games of the
yeah. It's
year.
the one best selling game of the year so far, and like I mean the only thing I can look at is like you look at like the people on the list at like the voters. Like it is it is all over the world. A lot of them are outside the United States. And football isn't really that big outside the United States, especially college football. So I guess it makes sense from that. But it's like I look at like man, this is like the saddest like sports racing list that we've had. Like usually it just goes to like the big racing game that came out this year or like non-annual sports game this year. But it's like there's literally none. It's all like annual sports games on that list. So I was like, I don't know, like yeah, like that's my big spot. I still enjoy the show. I'm not like I very rarely I don't can't think of a thing on time where I really got actually excuse me super upset by like something on the Game Awards. You know, like as far as like like nominees or something. Yeah, like I'm a human. We have a rooting interest. You know, there's certain things I want to win over other
Yeah.
ones, but it's like I don't know. Like I never played Balatro, and I see people mad about Balatro being on the game of the year list. And it's like I've never played it. I don't plan on playing it. Like the thing is, like the problem is, like I know I'll love it if I play it. I'm just not gonna play it because I know like I'm gonna lose a lot of time, and I don't want to do that. So like I'm not like yeah, like that should be on the game of the year list. Like I like yeah,
Absolutely.
like I haven't played a couple like Wukong. I have no problem with that. I've never played that game. I have no interest in playing that game. I have no problem with that being on the list. Like I don't know. I feel like most people are pretty rational about it, but it's just like I don't know. It's like I feel like we go through this every year where it's just like the outrage, and especially this year with like the DLC stuff where it's just like I don't know, man. It's like it's fucking video games. Like it's a video game awards show. It's like like why are we taking the shit so seriously? It's like we're all watching it because of like the announcements. That's the thing. We're like 90% of the reason.
That's the number one reason why we're watching
Yeah,
it.
90% of the reason why we're watching it is because of the announcements, and like the fun surprises. Like that's what we're here for. So like as long as the announcements are there, are you gonna like really actually like when the show's over with, like outside of like game of the year, maybe like how much are you gonna remember outside of the announcements? Like it's like game of the year, and then like all the announcements are gonna be like the top 10. Like when you name like the top 10 like things that came out that year. So I don't know. Anyways, a long rant there. I'm sorry, but yeah. I mean, I'm excited for it. I look forward to it every year. It's fun. It's a fun show. I like what Jeff Keighley does. Like I know people don't like him personally, but like or don't like him for whatever reason. But like I don't know. I still like I recognize like summer having summer game fest is better than having nothing at all, and having the game awards is better than having nothing at all. So um, that's the way I look at it. Cool. Like you can not like the show or not like the guy, but it's like cool. Then you get nothing. We don't have fun things going on. So yeah. And Gables walks away right as I was segueing to the next goddamn segment. You son of a bitch. I know he can hear me right now too because he clipped his headset on. So uh, anyways, we're gonna move on though to the Circana report for October of last month. Sorry, so Circana. Sorry, I'm gonna try that again. Moving on here to the October Circana report. This is basically it ranks. It ranks top 20 selling games in the United States from the previous month. This is all based off dollar sales. So pretty. This is a fun one, Gables. Sometimes like these are fun. Like some of my favorite ones are the months where there's nothing new, and the ones where there's a bunch of new shit. So in October, I had a lot of new shit. Before we get
Yeah.
into like over like we get to that top 20 list though, sales are up 27% compared to this from last October to this October. So up 27%, and sales overall for this year are up 12% compared to last year. Um, Switch is down 38%, which I mean is kind of what we've been for pretty much most of the year. It's been high 30s, low 40s.
Yeah.
We're in year 8 of the Switch, so it makes sense. Video game subscriptions are up 16% year over year. Assuming a lot of that has to do with Black Ops. Most of that they said was Game Pass, and assuming a lot of that is probably because of Black Ops 6 coming to Game Pass. Um, Despite Black Ops 6 being on Game Pass, it was up 23% compared to last year's Modern Warfare 3, which is pretty nuts. And then also, Silent Hill 2 was already the the second best selling Silent Hill game of all time, behind the original Silent Hill. So the original Silent Hill 2 rather. Sorry, I'm all tongue tied right now. That's weird. What's kind of fun about this one? So Gables, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 brand new games in the top 20 list this month. 8 of the top 9 are brand new games. So Gables, you're really bad at this game, but I'm going to ask you anyways. Why don't you try to predict some of these games that made the top 20?
All right. Silent Hill 2 remastered.
The Silent Hill 2 remake is number 3.
Dragon Ball Z Sparking Zero.
Number 2.
Number
Yep.
2. Okay, that's pretty cool. Now let's see what other new games that released in the month of October
One I just
now.
thought.
How about Metaphor
Number
Refantasio?
5.
Number
Yep.
5. Okay. So I've already gotten 3 of
Mm-hmm.
them. Trying to think of what other major ones. Call of Duty
Yep.
Black
Number 1,
Ops.
obviously.
That's number
Yeah.
1. Okay, that's 4.
You want
Let's
some?
see. I'm trying to
You want
think.
some
What
tips
was...
here?
All right, sure.
I have played 2 of these, and you have played 1 of these.
Okay. So you've played two of them. I've played
Mm-hmm.
one of them.
Like recently, like the last like couple weeks.
Oh yeah, so no, that's not that one. I was thinking about something else. Oh yeah, Sonic X Shadows
Number 9.
Generation. Okay, that's number
Mm-hmm.
9. I'm actually surprised it's in the top
Mm-hmm.
10. Huh. Okay, so that's 5.
One
Um,
you're just not gonna get. One of them,
let me.
but the two of them I've literally talked about on this podcast the last couple weeks.
Okay, what's it? Until Dawn remake?
No, I talked about that like a month ago.
Life is Strange, Double
Number 18.
Exposure. Okay, I actually got
Yeah, yeah.
6.
One of them I just talked about.
That's
One of them
unusual
I
for
just
me.
talked about last week.
Oh my God. Now I'm trying to remember what you talked about
Yeah, he
last
doesn't listen to me. He
week.
just bases me out.
I do listen to you and stuff like that, but because of how the time of the day is, sometimes my mind just goes,
I am 2 hours ahead of you, and I
oh
listen
my
to you.
God.
Come on. Now. All right,
I
I'm gonna go through
know.
some. All right, I'm just gonna tell you some of these things. All right, the other ones you didn't get. One of them you were never gonna get. Number 4, Undisputed, the boxing game. Yeah, it's a boxing
Undisputed.
game. It's like
FC
no, it's
Undisputed?
just Undisputed. It's a boxing game. It is like, and it's not even a good boxing game. It's just very weird.
Huh.
Um,
Huh.
Number 6, Dragon Age: The Veilguard. And then the other one you didn't get, number 7, Super Mario. God damn, I can't talk now. Super Mario Party Jamboree. That was the other one. Um,
Okay, that's kind of crazy that I forgot about Jamboree releasing last month and stuff. I mean, honestly, I wasn't going to get Veilguard because I don't really remember too much about that game other than like the initial stuff.
yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. So, anyways, we're gonna go through the list here. Number 20, Elden Ring, still holding strong. Number 19,
Mm.
jumped all the way from 90th. Final Fantasy the 1 to 6 bundle. I believe that I got a discount. I think it might have came to it came to Xbox last month. That's what it was. Um, Number 18, Life is Strange Double Exposure. Number 17, NBA 2K25. Number 16, Minecraft. Number 15, Astrobot. Number 14, NHL 25. Number 13, Hogwarts
Hmm.
Legacy. Number 12, Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. Number 11, EA Sports College Football 25. Number 10, EA Sports FC 25. Number 9,
Okay.
Sonic X Shadows Generation. Number 8, Madden NFL 25. Number 7, Mario Party Jamboree. Number
Hmm.
6, Dragon Age Veilguard, which is impressive because it was only on the list it's only had 2 days to be on the list. Number 5, Metaphor Refantasio. Number 4, Undisputed. Number 3, Silent Hill 2. Number 2, Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. And number 1, Call of Duty Black Ops 6. So, um, also it's
I'll
go
tell
ahead.
you what. Okay. I'll tell you what though. For debuting month, the debuting release for like say Dragon Ball Z Sparking Zero, it's like that's really surprising it sold number 2.
Number 3.
I,
No, I'm sorry. No,
number
number 2.
3.
I apologize.
Okay,
Number
number
2.
3.
Number 2.
Yeah, selling that high and stuff, especially over like Silent Hill remake and that initial like same month of its release. I mean, that's crazy. I mean, I heard the game was successful. I've heard a bunch of people like just raving about the game. It was one of the top sellers on Steam last month and stuff. But number 2, obviously, Call of Duty selling number 1 because of the availability of it, like through Game Pass and like whichever. And plus, it's supposed to be a decent Call of Duty game, so more people have more eyes
Yeah.
on it. But I'm surprised about that. I'm also surprised about Sonic X Generations being in the top 10. I mean, in the debut month of it, I mean, I thought it was going to be at least in the later part, if not maybe, oh God, maybe generous 17,
Yeah.
19, if
They
not,
usually
yeah,
debut pretty
at
well.
least
The
most.
Sonic games usually like
Yeah,
they don't stick in there very long though, but they usually pop in, and like even
yeah,
like the bad Sonic games will like pop in the top, like the bottom half of, like the top 10, and then they'll usually fall out for like the two or
right,
3 months.
right.
So yeah, like the fans will buy them, but yeah, it's like I wouldn't be shocked if like that's the same, like Dragon Ball is the same. I'm not trying to like knock these things down, but like I think it's one of those things like the hardcores are gonna buy them at launch, and then they'll probably eventually kind of fall out a little bit. But like I think part of it too is like Dragon Ball like came out like early in the month of October, I believe, and then also they had like the crazy expensive editions because this is based off dollar amounts, not individual sales. So I think that might have been part of it too. Like 'cause there was like $100 edition out there, I believe. Like you can pre-order. They got you 3-day early access and stuff. So, um, I know that was a thing. So that might have been part of it too. But yeah, it's still impressive though. Number two, and going through going through it's even what's pretty impressive here is Call of Duty Black Ops 6 is usually like the Call of Duty games come out and boom, immediately number one game of the year for best selling. It's I mean it's gonna get there eventually, but it is number three right now, still behind Call of Duty 25 and Helldivers 2, and then number four is Dragon Ball Sparking Zero for best selling game of the year so far. Like I said, this is based off dollar amount, so yeah,
Crazy.
so yeah, pretty crazy little fun month here. So November, yeah, I'm trying to remember what's big in November this month. Like Lego Horizon. Anything? I know I'm forgetting something like something big.
November really isn't as big of like a release month this year
Yeah,
as
it's pretty
opposed
light.
to
Yeah.
October. I mean, the main things I can think of here is like Nintendo's release of like
Oh, Brothership.
Brothership.
Yeah.
That's one
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, you're right. So
But I am really just at a loss trying to think of what else kind of
yeah.
released during this thing. I mean, Lego Horizon was released this past week.
Mm, not
Eh,
expecting.
it's been sort of like middling
Yeah, but I mean,
reviews.
like it's a Lego game that they don't review like crazy well. So I think it's like they sell
No,
extremely well. But I'm even that one. I'm not expecting like crazy numbers for. So I'm sure we'll see a lot of them. I'm kind of curious to see what sticks around for the next month. But that's awesome to see. Like especially like Silent Hill 2 getting in there. Number three is awesome. Like, hey Konami, like you put out a good game, people will buy it. Instead of just pumping out shit and like it's nice to know like they haven't killed these franchises that they desperately tried to for a long time. Especially Silent Hill was maybe like the number one like franchise they tried to fucking kill by just pumping out garbage for so long. So, um,
well, at least they didn't make another pachinko machine.
well, I mean, who's to say they haven't? Probably obviously with the success of this remake, they're gonna make 20 more. But yeah, so I don't know, pretty cool list though. And seeing Life is Strange there, even though it's number 18, about like I wasn't expecting that to be like super high seller, but like cool to see it in the top 20. I don't think um, typically don't see that in like the top sellers. So that gives me some hope that maybe we'll get that next game because we desperately need it. So but moving on here though to our last news story of the week. Pretty crazy one here. Kind of just, I mean, something I think people have been talking about for a while, but like not like rumored wise, but just been like discussing overall is like uh kind of came out that Sony is trying to buy Kodakawa, I believe is how I say it, which is the parent company to FromSoft. That's kind of like the headline is like, oh, PlayStation's trying to buy From Software, which not necessarily true. Is like they're trying to buy, that company is a gigantic company that like they own way more than just like From Software. Obviously, From Software is probably like the golden goose of the bunch, but like they have a big hand in like in Japan and stuff of like mangas and anime and stuff like that. And we know Sony owns like Funimation and Crunchyroll. Um, but
They pretty much own the majority of like the distribution of anime and manga in the
yeah,
U.S.
yeah. So and this will just kind of expand that even more into U.S. and in Japan as well. So and I don't like that's not my game. I don't know anime and all that stuff, but like I know I from what I understand, people aren't super happy with
All you really need to know is just, yeah,
yeah, people aren't happy with Sony's
yeah, that's about
running
it.
of Crunchyroll and stuff like that. So I just like that's I've heard people talk about it. It's just like they're not like people in that fan base would not be pumped about that side of things. Also, people don't know they also own the Danganronpa developer Spike Chunsoft, which didn't back they used to make GameCube games back in the day, didn't they?
I think they did make some GameCube games, but I do not remember which ones they were responsible
I thought
for
they used to make like
in terms of
they
that
used to make
stuff.
the um Mario Party games back in the day. Am I misremembering that?
I'm
I
not
thought it was
sure.
Chunsoft that used to make those. Sorry, we'll move on.
Hmm.
But also they own so yeah the Danganronpa developers for that. They also own the Octopath developer Acquire, which oddly enough just made the Brothership Mario and Luigi game, so they might own them if they were to buy them. And the RPG maker and pixel game maker developer Gotcha Games, so including From Software. But I don't know, it was like kind of with if like what's your like? We don't know if this is gonna happen. They did confirm that like they did make an offer, but they haven't said they haven't said yes or no. So I mean, what's your overall thoughts on potentially this acquisition?
My thoughts on it is like I don't like it because even like trying to get any type of acquisition towards the the company in general and stuff, it's just going to be bad for not just like the potential thing for FromSoft in general. I mean, part of the reason why From Software went to go pretty much independent like it did, and just is just to try to create their own projects and stuff and try to do something themselves like away from like say the whole aspects of say like what they were like would say with Sony in terms of like Demon Souls and like this and that. Spin off their own thing. They did Dark Souls stuff. And Elden Ring obviously has been the big old golden goose out of everything, like selling gangbusters and stuff since its release. I just don't like it because it's like it's more of like a monopoly in terms of like try to acquire not just say the parent company of like say FromSoft though, but also like you were just touching upon certain more content, say IPs, certain like types of things to try to just invest more inside of it. And I think you and I have both witnessed like certain monopolies and other like entertainment stuff, especially with the world of professional wrestling, to where if you have a monopoly over an entirety of like one entertainment field or something like that, less quality is going to be produced. It's going to be more of, oh, hey, I got free reign to do what I want, so let's go ahead and just slide everything because people will just buy it anyway. That type of
Yeah,
mentality, you
yeah.
know?
Uh, I'm sorry. So I was listening, but I was also looking at the list here. So they did make a bunch of like Nintendo games, but it was mostly like they made like
Yeah.
those Pokemon Mystery Dungeon games.
Oh
Yeah.
wow.
So that was like kind of what their big thing was, and they also like worked on a bunch of like the Dragon Quest games as well. Um, but yeah, no,
Hmm.
like, well, I mean, like, so like FromSoft isn't independent. Obviously, they're owned by this company. So, but they do have like they pretty much
Right.
have
Yeah.
free reign in what they do, and also like I believe Bandai Namco like owns like pretty much owns the. I don't know if they own it, but like they are the pretty much the publishers of um, the like all their games like Dark Souls and all the Dark
Right.
Souls games and Elden Ring. So like I don't know how that I don't know if they like how that would work otherwise. If they want to make Elden Ring 2, could PlayStation, like uh like or Sony whatever like would they own the IP if they bought this company, or does like Bandai Namco own the IP? Who knows? Um yeah, like obviously like when like PlayStation or Sony does own I think 16% of From Software already. So like they've already made a big investment in them. So like they should be buying up more. But I believe there's Katakawa. I'm saying it wrong. I know I am, but like they own 70% of From Software.
Yeah.
So they would pretty much if they were to buy them, they own 80 something percent of it. Um, but I don't know. Yeah, I agree with you. Like yeah, like we see this all the time. Like I mean, we're seeing it right now. Like we see it all the time now. Like lately in the gaming world, where it's like I don't know. You see these small studios. It's like you kind of like part of you is like you don't love these big companies buying it, but you also like you hear the argument and like you understand like you hear them talk about it. It's like hey cool we don't like like we just want to make games. We don't want to like worry about like paying the electric bill or paying the studio like paying the staff paying for the rent on the studio. Like we just want to make games and like be able to focus on that. And it's like so you get like all excited. Oh cool like Xbox bought this company or so and so bought this company or whatever. And it's like cool you get like excited for them like cool like now they can just focus on making games. It's like we see it doesn't like that's not how it
Mm-mm.
works anymore. Like now it's like it's
No.
like fucking Hi-Fi Rush comes out. And it's like yeah was it maybe like this giant like seller as far as like money income thing? No, but like I mean it was one of the probably Xbox's biggest success is like a first party game they've had in I don't know a decade, maybe more. Really, honestly, like from critically acclaimed as far as like it's like yeah, like they've had some good games there, but like as far as one that was like universally loved, and yeah, obviously I'm biased because it was my game of the year last year. Um, but yeah, like and like they closed the studio like fucking a year later on my birthday. Still mad about that one. It's like we see Arcane yeah, it was a side studio of Arcane, but like they put out one bad game, and like even though they put out great games in the past, they closed them down. They put out Redfall and like oh you're done, and like we see like Take Two, like they have Private Division, which is like their indie like they like publisher out there like helps indie games like fund indie games to get put out, and like Take Two even like said like they met and surpassed every goal they ever put out for them, and they knocked out of the park 100%. and they laid everybody off and shut the thing down. And it's like because they said just a couple weeks ago, in a in like a shareholder meeting where it's like when they asked about it, it's like it was like yeah it did everything they did everything we wanted and more, but it's like it's small potatoes basically. It's like we don't want like we don't want to make a just throwing shit out there, but like we don't want to invest $10 million to make 20. We want to invest 200 to make a billion. It's like that's what they care about. It's like I don't know, like I'm not worried about like FromSoft. Like FromSoft is FromSoft. They're gonna be fine. Like I'm sure if they bought them, like they'd be stupid to like mingle and anything. Like you have like they're a fucking pretty much they are maybe they're not maybe Rockstar, but like they're not too far behind Rockstar. Where like Rockstar could like that thing with like as soon as GTA 6 come out, like it can just be a fucking a turd in a fucking they can literally shit in a box and call it GTA 6, and that thing will sell 10 million units tomorrow. Like that's how big Rockstar is right now. Like they can do whatever they want. From Software is not too far behind it. Maybe they can shit in a box and sell like 3 million units. I don't know. But the other, it's like I just look at the other stuff they like acquire like and stuff like that or Spike Chunsoft or whatever here. It's like those studios are like I don't know how they gonna do like it's like is PlayStation gonna care like I'm sure PlayStation like wouldn't mind having them but like Sony is like that giant big conglomeration is gonna be like well, we don't care about these guys we want we want the next big AAA game we want the next big huge thing it's like I don't know it's like a part of me is like I don't know but it's like maybe Astrobot like they're excited about Astrobot I don't know but it's like you can't just like we look at these anymore nowadays where it's like it is more cutthroat than ever. You can be successful, but like you're just not big enough to be like what we care about. Or like you can be successful and have one flop and you're fucking done. Or you can just be mildly successful and like you're just done and like you're never getting another one. So it's like I don't know. Like I don't we see already with like part of us were like there's a little bit of us in there that was like we were excited for like Bethesda being bought by Xbox. There's like cool Activision Blizzard being bought by going to Xbox. Like these could be good things. And it's just like I don't know. Like I would say Bethesda doesn't feel great right now just because like those closing two studios. But um, you look at Activision Blizzard, like that seems to be working out pretty okay so far. But like, other than like they laid off like 5,000 fucking people in the video game industry, after they did this, which sucks. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not pumped for it. It's like if these studios were going under and like this is like the lifeline, then maybe my opinion would be different. But it's like I don't know. I look at like FromSoft. Like FromSoft is gonna be fine. These other studios, I assume they're gonna probably be okay. I don't know. Like it seems like like they're like Acquire just made Mario and Luigi Brothership. I'm sure that's gonna do fine. It's probably doing fine. So I don't assume they're gonna go anywhere. And Danganronpa's got a nice little pocket of fans, and it seems like it's sustainable. So I don't know. And like the other shit out there is like I don't like the anime and manga stuff is not my game, but like I hear I like from what I understand like fans don't want that. Yeah, having like you said a monopoly of that or having maybe not a monopoly but like just having one less major distributor out there distributor out there. Sorry, I can't talk. Um, it's just bad for everybody. So it's gonna make they're gonna put less care into the product and they're probably gonna charge more money. So it's like that's not great. So I don't know. But yeah, I'm not like I don't know like maybe like 3 years ago maybe I would have thought differently. But today it's just like I don't know like what is like outside of like PlayStation getting FromSoft like what makes that better for any like everybody else? It's like it's not even like an anti PlayStation thing here. It's like I feel the same way if like it was Nintendo or fucking Xbox or Square Enix or Tencent or anybody. It's like this isn't a PlayStation exclusive thing. This is just in general. Like I'm not pumped about FromSoft being bought by anybody because it seems like shit's doing pretty cool right now where they're at. So yeah, that's my opinion on that one. Anything else, Gills, before we move on?
Oh no, no, there's nothing else I can really think of to contribute to this
Okay.
one.
All right. Well, we'll move on. We'll be playing Gables. Do you want to go first? Do you want me to go first, buddy?
I'll go first because I have played like a couple of things. So, as I was mentioning before, there was a game that I did go through and go back to just to finish up like the terms of the career mode for it, and that was I did finish up like in terms of the career mode Madden 25 because it was just something that I've been doing off and on, ever since I got the game. And this past week, I'm like, okay, well, I got some extra time. Let's see how things go on. And it's like I felt that after complaining and stuff, I thought the whole road to starting as a rookie in terms of like that going all the way until as far as you can go for that season. Like for this example and stuff, I made it to the Super Bowl, won the Super Bowl my first year, blah blah blah, and so on and so forth. And yeah, the whole experience though, it felt fine. It wasn't like anything like too overbearing or nothing like readily as difficult and stuff. It was okay. It just wasn't like say a little bit more like in depth in terms of what I thought it could have been, but at the same time I thought it was fine enough to where I got a good gist of how I can go through and upgrade my character, how certain decisions I make will influence like term type of power ups for the next game or something like that, or how I could do these different types of side games, like do showdown matches, which I never did, and just looked into certain aspects of like the whole coverage of like your player and stuff. There's certain events. Let's see, for my player, it's like he was offensive player of the year, also MVP, as well as Super Bowl MVP. And basically, how I just played my character, my quarterback, he was just lobbing balls and stuff like that to Chris Olave, like the entire freaking season. Either him or Sheet Shahid or something like that, or even on occasion, I think like Taysom Hill or whatever. And then Camaro would just go through and just close out games by running out the clock by running. And what's hilarious about that is the CPU, knowing full well it's like, okay, well he's one of the best running backs like in the league right here. So let's go ahead and like just have his AI be a little bit weird. And so sometimes he'll break off and he'll just run a touchdown when you're just trying to waste the clock. That happened a kind of like a few games and stuff like that, which I kind of felt funny because here I am, I just snap the ball, my quarterback's just watching, I just see Kamara just go through, just break off like a couple of tackles and just run to the end zone. Oh god. But yeah, other than that though, I mean, I have enjoyed Madden 25 more than I thought I would. Granted, I've tried playing Madden games the past couple of years, never really can get too much into them. But this one was better in my honest opinion. I had a chance to edit terms of like say music what I was listening to. So basically what I'm listening to is like some of the ones from like the early 2000s from previous Madden games. I said like with Good Charlotte or something like that, or Andrew
Yeah.
WK, or
Think
like
Green
just
Day's
something
in
like
there.
that,
Yeah.
because that's how yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Because that's how I remember playing Madden games, and it
50
made
Cent.
it such an interesting, yeah, 50 Cent and stuff in the club and stuff. I mean, God, that's like flashback to my senior year of high school. So it's like all of that stuff made it a much more bearable experience. Obviously, going into playing different teams and stuff other than the teams that my team that I'm accustomed to playing as, it was a bit different. And kind of looking back on the New Orleans Saints and stuff this past season, they fired their head coach. A lot of the players that I made quick use of in terms of like in my own career mode are out with injury, like Rashid Shaheed injured for the rest of the year for this past NFL season, Chris Olave on the IR pretty much. I'm not sure when he's going to be coming back from concussion protocol stuff, but yeah, it has been an enjoyable experience, and I can honestly say I would probably give it a solid 7 out of 10. I still want to play it. I still feel like that there's much to enjoy from it, and plus, I've only did like one character in terms of like just the quarterback. I could do running back, I could do like cornerback or a linebacker or whatever the hell. But at this point in time, I'm going to put it a little bit on the side burner because there is like at least a game or two I do want to start and play. And of course, the other game that I have been consistently playing though is the Pokemon TCGP on mobile. But more so, I've been focusing on trying to use my free packs that I get daily in order just to open the Pikachu ones, because there's a couple cards from there I really want. One of them was like the Misty Trainer card, which if you basically earn like water energy based upon how many heads you flip. And so you have the possibility of like getting maybe 1 to 3 or something like that based upon how lucky you get. So I got a couple of those actually this past week through random draws. What I'm really aiming for is to get those freaking Pikachu X ones, because I end up discovering something like just by accident while I'm playing against people online. There's really like 4 different deck types with the cards available right now. One includes Charizard, one includes Mewtwo, obviously one includes Pikachu, and then the last one is like, let's see, it's interchanged between like different types of like water types and stuff like that. But what I'm finding is Pikachu, he's a basic. It's like he has a basic form, right? But his X form has an ability to where it's like Circle Circuit. It's the name of the attack. It initially does like 30 damage. However, if you have a full bench of Pokemon, which a full bench means like you have three other basic Pokemon inside the corrective zones, it will raise up his attack to like about up to 90. And so here you have an attack that you just basically put two electric energy into fairly cheap, if anything. You can do it like within a turn or two. Or if you have like a Pokemon that's going to help in terms of like, say, gathering certain energy or something to a specific Pokemon, or a trainer card that's going to support it, like say Lieutenant Surge, it makes this Pokemon a menace to play against. And so it's like the biggest thing that I'm facing right now is like, okay, how am I going to take on this Pikachu when my opponent literally has an entire deck to where they has two copies of that same Pikachu X, a couple of the Zapdos X's and stuff like that, on top of when I do knock out one of his Pokemon, or if I do use one of the trainer cards to switch out their Pokemon for another one on their bench, they constantly have a full bench. So let's just switch into the other X card. And then I have to try to go and navigate around that. So I end up losing those type of matches. But what I can say is, for terms of draws, I did get a Blastoise X this past week, which that was pretty cool. Got like a Zapdos one, which was really cool. It's like an alternative art where he's just flying in a thunder cloud filled sky and all this other stuff. And that's one thing I can say about the Pokemon GC TCGP. They have like this game has specific artwork just for this game for some of the more powerful cards. Let's say like with Mewtwo, Charizard, Pikachu, Moltres, and stuff, and Zapdos. They have awesome art, including like for some of the basic Pokemon like Bulbasaur, Squirtle, like Charmander and stuff. They have their own alternative arts, and it just really, looks really cool. It's so cool. I really wish they would have released some of these art cards because they're freaking awesome. They have individual artists and stuff like that that they've had licensed out. So each of these character arts will like they have specific types of like specific artists that have contributed to it. But currently, because of the cards that I have been getting through these initial draws, I have like about 5 or 6 different decks that I'm just trying things out. It's more or less trying to pick the type of deck that I just want to run with and just use. Like I got Charizard stuff. I was lucky enough to draw at least some of those cards do that. But more so I'm just seeing it's like I've gotten a lot of bang for my buck for this free to play game. I haven't spent anything in this game. Literally anything. But I've literally spent at least a good solid maybe 30 to 50 hours playing this because it's like I am getting a lot of the different cards. It's not like paywall or something like that to where I have to physically pay for a subscription in order to just get like some like specific packs, for example. Like for say, if there was like a different, if there's like say the Charizard pack, if that was locked behind a paywall or something like that in terms of like a subscription thing, yeah, I wouldn't be able to do that, right? But they have the option to where you can go through and like buy a whole bunch of currency and then just spin a whole bunch of packs and then all of a sudden you get all this other stuff. But yet, if you're someone that just wants to play the Pokemon TCG and just have some mindless fun with it, doing solo battles or the occasional online stuff, you're more than welcome to do that. This is probably one of the best free to play games I've played in terms of like how easy it is to get into it, how fun and exciting it can be when you're opening a pack and then all of a sudden you get that one card. It's like, holy crap, this is actually going to be a good, useful card. It's just incremental updates, incremental upgrades upon what you can build and do with a deck that makes it much more exciting. On top of that, let's see. For the final game that I play this week, it's a new game that I haven't really delved into. It's also a free to play game that released earlier on. It's the First
Hmm.
Descendant. Yeah, the first Descendant I tried on Steam, but I did download it on the PlayStation 5 because I wanted to just try to get a custom, like, just try to get like a custom feel of the game itself. I do like some bit of like the character designs in terms of like the designs and like how things look, obviously. This game does have a lot of cosmetics and it does have a lot of like various things you can invest into if you want. The first thing I feel when I play this game is I feel that a lot of the core aspects and a lot of the core things are borrowed from like Destiny 2 because you have certain like mission structure stuff that you need to do in a strike, or you can't do certain like certain types of battles without having a crew with you. But I will say this though, one thing I did like of what they did with this game is if you're going to go into like say a strike mission or you're going to go into like a basic mission, it'll tell you how long of a time it's going to generally take for you to do that. So for example, if you only have like maybe a half hour to really play this game, you could just blaze through a couple of missions and stuff that don't take a lot of time at all, or try to like grind in terms of just getting some sort of EXP or something, and then you can have it that way. I did end up learning the hard way to where there was this one boss battle I did do by myself. It had a 10-minute time limit, and I did not even get that monster like drained more than half of its health points and stuff. I just basically just wanted to screw around with it and see what happened. But from the character I am using, it's the lady that uses ice attacks and stuff like that. She's fairly fun to play. I mean, I'm kind of surprised in terms of like some bits of the attacks that she can use. But other than that, though, I mean, I'm still kind of enjoying it. It's really nothing too bad. I haven't returned to it yet, but I'm planning on at least giving like maybe another try, like another gameplay or two, just to get a good overall feel if I want to continue with it or not. But yeah, it's been sort of a experience to say the least. But anyways, that's pretty much it for me.
All right. So I've been playing a couple games this week. I talked about a lot last week, so I won't spend too much time on it this week. Dragon Age Veilguard. I did finish that up this week. Kind of final opinions on it. It's fucking awesome. I like the more I played this game, the more I actually ended up really liking it. Um, the I'm trying to remember where I was last time. I will say though, so I talked about last week where like my in-game timer on the thing said my save file said 55 hours. I was like, I feel like that's wrong. I looked into a little bit on my Xbox. It's like an issue like this happens with like sometimes in Xbox games. Like I put my Xbox to sleep, like the in-game timer won't stop, even though I put this Xbox to sleep. So like the next morning, you go say 12 hours later, you go save again. It's like it's like it added 12 hours to your time. So like I didn't put 55 hours into it last week. I was close to like probably the high 30s. I ended up beating the game. I was probably by the time I was done with it, I don't know exact times now because everything's all screwed up. But kind of going off of what my like Xbox time says, like um, I think probably close to like 55 hours. Actually, by the time I actually finished it, I did do pretty much everything in the game. I beat all the side quests. I maxed out all the like areas, like all of the different like groups of like team like groups of like people that can like that'll help you out in the end. I maxed out all of them. I finished all of the like the loyalty quests for your party members, and those were like I mean obviously like the biggest things with like Bioware games is like the party members and like how like the best parts of, like Mass Effect 2 like are the loyalty missions, and this is like no like honestly they kind of like they really like I would say like the crux of the game is those like where like I would argue that like they probably like it they're probably longer like the combined like loyalty quests if you did all of them is probably like almost close to the length of the if you just mainline the actual main storyline of the game. Because like there are like I think like there's like I don't know. It's not just like you talked a couple times. You go do the loyalty mission. Like there are like multiple like there's like 5 or 6 missions you gotta do, and some are like literally like a conversation and like it's just getting background. Some of them like and it's like the 3-4 minutes. Some are like 10 minutes, and then like some of them like by the end like some of the missions are like 20-30 minutes, and like so you'll spend a few hours probably with each character and like really dive deep into like their background and like dive deep into like doing they're like like basically like you're trying to like kind of the end of the game is like going into like that last thing is almost like it's kind of like very much like Mass Effect 2 where like that last thing is like the suicide mission and like everybody's trying to like take care of loose ends before they go into there, and that will also help you like you can like characters you can lose party members in the like going into like the last mission like the last like going into the point of no return. Like I actually lost a character and like even though like I had maxed out everything, I did like I said I maxed out all the like I finished the loyalty quest. I had like all of them like everybody ready to go. I did literally every side quest in the game. I hit the level cap, everything. Like literally the only thing I didn't do was find all the treasure chests. That's all I didn't do. I'm missing one achievement for the game, and like that one achievement is like something you have to like, uh, you have to like. I have a save file like a hard save that's like an hour away from like getting back there, and like I just gotta like something will happen. Like you can go one or two ways. I went like mine went one way, and if I did the other way, I would pop that last achievement. So like I'm like an hour away. If like gonna say I can go back and get it, but like the other I have too many other games to play right now. So like I'm not gonna I'll jump back and do that later, but I'm not worried about it right now. But anyways, I really felt like they nailed the fucking like the some of the story like the story missions. Like Tosh's is awesome. Balar's is fucking probably my favorite with her, and like just her loyalty quest. And it's like it like legitimately is heart wrenching. Davern's is really really cool with like him and like with the he has a, like obviously I'm biased because he has a cute little griffin. That's a fucking adorable. Honestly, my actually I take it back. My favorite is Imrix. His little like he has a little skeleton buddy. He's the necromancer. He has his buddy Manfred. Was like he's like a skeleton that he like brought back and like is kind of like his butler in a sort of way, but it's like also secretly like his best friend. And it's like a really cool, like really, really, really great mission. But yeah, like I end up like going away from like I love the combat is really, really fun. I never like, I've talked about a lot sometimes when I play like these bigger, longer games where like, I like, I'll go too crazy with like the side content and the open world part of stuff. And then I get to the point where like, I'm just like kind of burnt out and I'm ready to just move on. But then like, I realized I got like 10 hours left of the game, like the story mission. And so I just mainline it. And I end up like kind of like it almost like it's kind of my own fault, but I always like end up like kind of annoyed like the last like 10 hours of the game because I'm like I'm just ready to move on, but like I gotta just I put too much time into it. I gotta finish it up, but I'm also still enjoying it. And like luckily like this time around I didn't actually like it also helps like it's not like the areas are like it's not open world. There's like open areas. There's like 5 or 6 like probably like five I say like 4 decent sized areas like but smaller and like not like ballooned up like crazy. Not Ubisoft, like so like you can get through them pretty quickly, which is nice. So it does like it's not overwhelming. And then there's like a few smaller areas you can go through like there. But like I did like everything but like find all the treasure chests in the game. Like I think I found like 90% of them. So like I've done everything in the game. Like I was like and like I said by the time I got to that suicide mission part of the game, like I was like if you would told me there was like 3 more hours of like side content I could have done, I probably would still been down for it. If there was more conversations I could have had with my characters. I enjoyed all the conversations I was having with them. I was enjoying the gameplay. Like I had a really cool like I really like the fact with the skill tree you can like with your character with your allies and your personal character you can undo your skills as much as you want and reestablish your skill points. So like I like made a really great build where like I focus like towards the end where like I have this great build like building up my meter, which I can do like my special attacks with really quickly and like do like my build up my stagger meter, so like it puts enemies in stagger so that you can do like a kind of a finishing move, like do like a really powerful attack on them as well. And then also like my attacks did like fire damage, so like they would build up fire damage, and it's like you can stack it more and more. So like I had like like honestly, I feel like I was like way more strategic in this game. Like usually I just like, oh cool, just give me like I only like pay attention to shit. Like just give me the thing that makes the numbers go up the higher. And like this was like like I was actually spending like a decent chunk of time in the skill tree. Is like, all right, cool. Like how's the best way I can like do like the most damage, like like residual damage overall. Like I like doing so like cool. Like I got the sword that does fire damage, and then I attached items enchantments on top of it. I did more, and then like I would go in my skill tree and I totally like built around it. Like I actually like built like it's like when I make my like play like Yu-Gi-Oh. I build my card deck. I just pick the cards I like. I don't actually go with the strategy necessarily. And like this was like me like actually going in like I built the deck like I built like I put a strategy into my deck essentially, but with Dragon Age, and like I really liked it. And like like it just builds and builds and builds and gets better and better. And like that's what you want in a video game. Like that last like the point of no return was fucking awesome and like fucking stressful as shit because like you have to pick like what characters you want to do certain things and based off of like if you pick them and they're not suitable for this type of thing, they can die and you can lose them. And like I said, I lost one that I was fucking that fucking cutscene was gut wrenching for me. I was so fucking. It was one of my it was one of my favorite characters. And my like there's only like 6. They're all really good, but like it was definitely like in my top 3 of the 6 characters in my party. But yeah, I ended up really liking that game. That game is fucking fantastic. Like so like I would say it's probably my favorite BioWare game since Mass Effect 2. Like I still really like Mass Effect 3 except for like that last like basically like the last like hour of that game. I didn't really like I don't hate the ending Mass Effect 3. I'm not one of those guys, but like I just can't wait like lukewarm on it, which kind of sucks too. But like obviously like Anthem was pretty bad and Mass Effect Andromeda was not great, but Dragon Age Inquisition was really good game as well. So yeah, fantastic game. So if you're like a fan out there that wants a big fan of BioWare and kind of wanting that a little bit of that BioWare magic, like I think like I'm not going to say this is I'm still not going to say this is like peak BioWare like Dragon Age Origins and the Mass Effect 1 and 2, but like man, like this is the closest we've been in a very long time. I would say since EA bought them. I would say this is the best they've been. So yeah, I really loved it. The other game I've been playing and I just started it, just the last couple of days here. So I've not I got a decent chunk of way into it, but it's not a lot for what this game is. I am 11 hours into Metaphor Refantasio. Holy shit, Gables! What is the fucking what a video game, man! What a fucking video game this game is. I'm not gonna spend too much on it because it's like this is gonna be a gigantic game, and I barely scratched the surface. I'm still in like the first probably like major like dungeon for this one, but man, this game goes hard. Like I would say like the first like 5 hours of the game, I had audibly went like let's fucking go like 12 times. Like there's just so many like cool epic moments. Like my first like I just played my first Persona game this year with Persona 3 Reload, which I loved. And just dipping this definitely like it's so weird like this is not just called Persona 6 Metaphor or Persona Refantasio or something like that because it is a Persona game but like medieval like kind of era. I'm really liking the characters in the game so far. Like Gallica, I believe is how you say her name. She's really cool. Like the little fairy with you. Trying to remember. Stall is really good so far. And then I just got the Hildenberg. I can't remember. Anyways, but yeah, like I'm really liking the characters that are with you, and like just some of the characters that you get introduced to so far right away have been really cool. And like I'm liking them. The fucking cutscenes are fucking gorgeous. Just the UI. I've always respected like the visuals of this game. It's always been like the investment that's always kind of scared me off with these. Obviously like playing Persona 3 when I first got hurt earlier this year. I was like it was the reason I jumped into that game and ended up loving it. And I always kind of figured I would, but like yeah, it was more of a time thing than anything. And then like jumping into this, like man, this game is it is fucking phenomenal. It is just and like I like so much about like what they're doing so far. Like like Persona 3 Reload had like eventually like you can just like essentially like almost like auto battle. Like you can like there's like when you find like monsters on the field, like if you're higher level, like so many levels higher than them, you just hit them and they'll just die, and you get like half the XP, and like this does it too, but like does it like so much earlier in the game than like Persona 3 Reload did, and so it's like it's great too. Where like I'm just getting through like dungeons a lot faster because like I get leveled up higher, so I'm like so much more leveled up than I would say a good chunk of the game I was like probably a little over leveled, so I was like going through like a lot of enemies pretty quickly, which was nice. So yeah, like it's definitely like I feel like the game is just really starting to get going a little bit now because like I said, I'm just now getting like that. I'm like a couple hours into like the first real dungeon. Like there's been smaller ones here and there, but like I don't know, it's like the trope of what you expect from like these kind of JRPG, like these JRPG style games where like it's very story heavy, a lot of stop and starts early in the game. Like I said, I just now feel like I'm getting into the game. I will say though, this game is probably a little more unforgiving than like Persona 3 Reload is, like because like I'm like struggling my way through like this fucking this dungeon right now. Like the last like hour, like I'm like out of like I'm low on health items. I have no MP, and I have like only a few MP items left, and I'm getting close to like the final boss, but I'm like there's like no like usually like you see like a shopkeeper or there's like a place where you can like get you can like you can rest or whatever and get all your HP and MP back, and I have not found any of those in this. And like I am like multiple hours deep in this dungeon and I can't back out because I'm on the last day of like you have to like beat it on this day. So like I'm like fuck. Part of it's my fault because I waited to the last day to do it. Like I was like, cool, I'm gonna go focus on like getting like like in like Persona 3 Reload, like you have like the three things you work on, like it's like your education and like what was it like book smart. It was like I can't remember what it is, but like it's like education and like athletic or whatever. Like this one has like the five. There's like tolerance, imagination, charisma, not charisma. Uh, I can't remember. Anyways, there's five of them now. So I was like focusing on trying to do all those. I did a couple side missions, like a couple requests that kind of took up like a couple days. So I was like focused on like doing that instead. And I was like, oh, I'll just wait. Like that. What I did was Persona 3 Reload. I'll just wait till the end. And I was like, I was being like stingy about like buying items because like even though I had the money, I'm like, well, I'm like, I'll get through this just fine, no problem. And like here I am, like fucking like crawling my way through this fucking dungeon. Like I'm like running away from enemies like a madman because I have no health and I have like I'm running low on items. I've like said I'm running low on shit. But yeah, like I'm really liking it so far. But like I said, I know I just scratched the surface of this game. But yeah, I'll be jumping back into it, obviously, because yeah, this game so far has been pretty fantastic. So that's all I've been playing. But I think that's gonna do it for this week, guys. So if you like the show, like what we're doing, really appreciate it if you help us out by, like I said, we don't ask for money. We don't. There's no way to like support us with money. The only way to really support us is with some of your time and click some buttons. Like I said, you hit that thumbs up button, 5-star reviews, comments, follow, subscribe, whatever you can do. We're on every podcast service out there. Check us out, please, on YouTube. Big thing there's a link. There's links down below in the description if you want to get there. Get there faster. But yeah, next week we'll do it'll be focused on we'll be doing our Game War predictions. So it'll be pretty fun. Gables has been jumping. I knew doing a lot of research. He didn't get a lot of time playing video games this week because he was doing a lot of research on the esports. People. Like I'm really excited for his breakdown on DMJJKK. I think his name was. I can't remember. And something. Oh, anyways, Gables, I can't wait to hear you break down on all of those. It's probably gonna be a 2-hour podcast in itself of just Gables talking about the esports nominees. But anyways, I was Tyler.
And I've been Colonel Gables. So until next time, everyone, thank you for listening to another fun-filled episode of the Drunk-Nerds podcast.
Gables? Too
yeah.
sweet?
Too
Bye,
sweet,
guys.
man. See ya.